welcome to the great outdoors. So Mr. Garrison and I are here at Black Lake Woods Metro Park in Reynoldsburg. It's nearby where we live and it's not too far from Gahanna, so it's a place you guys can check out too. So I'm going to be teaching you how to skip rocks. It's kind of a simple thing, but I think it's super fun. It's a great way to get outside. A lot of you may know how to do it, but if you don't, hopefully this video can teach you how. So first things first when you're doing this is safety. So you gotta make sure you're doing this safe, because although you might be throwing little rocks like this, they can really hurt someone. Like, watch. Hey, Mr. Garrison. Yeah, he didn't like that. I didn't throw it at him. It's okay, guys. Don't do that. So you gotta make sure you're being safe, because you don't want to hit anyone with one of these rocks. So one of the things you want to do is you gotta make sure that there's no one around you. So you can put your arms out and kind of swivel them in a circle, because then you're making sure that there's no one around you. Secondly, you want to make sure that if you're with people, they're all the opposite way that you're throwing it. So the best way to throw is to face the body of water that you're going to be skipping rocks on, because you're going to be throwing them with your sidearm, which is kind of an odd movement. So you can face forward, or you can throw it by facing down the creek or pond you're at. But that's why you have to make sure if you're going to throw it down, everyone else that you're with is on the opposite side of you. So that's with safety. Make sure that you're not going to hit anybody, that you're not going to hit them with a rock, or even when you're throwing your arm, because if you hit someone like this, it's going to hurt you and it's going to hurt them. Alright, so this next part is teaching you how to pick rocks, because with skipping rocks, it's important to find the best kind of rock. So here's what you got to look for. You want to look for rocks that are kind of like this one. They need to be flat, because the flatter they are, the better they are to skim across the top of the water. And it's also good to find ones that are going to fit easily in your hand. So like this one's kind of small. It's okay. Maybe a little bigger might be more comfortable to put it into your hand, but ones that you can easily kind of put your fingers around and hold without needing too much support. So it's also good to find ones that are lightweight, because the lighter they are, the harder you can throw them and skip them across the surface. And you know, my goal is always to get as many jumps as possible. So when you have them thin like this, they're easier to throw when they're lighter like that. So other examples are ones, these are okay rocks, but you just gotta look for ones that are flat, will fit in your hand, and aren't too heavy. So some examples of rocks that would not be good. For example, this rock, although it is flat and it has pretty much uniform thickness, if you look at it, it's pretty big. So holding that in my hand, it's pretty awkward. It's also kind of heavy just for my hand. Like, yes, it's not super heavy, I can hold it. But to throw it, it's gonna hurt my arm, and it's not gonna skip as well across the water because it is so heavy. Another example of a not great rock would be this one, because its weird shape makes it really hard to hold. Plus it's too big and it's too thick. So that's an example of one you're not going to want to use. So just make sure when you're looking for rocks, you can find them anywhere. There's so many here, obviously. Pick one up and just try it, but your best bet is to look for small, thin, flat rocks. The flatter the better, I always say. So the next part of skipping rocks is how you're going to hold it. So your first thing is you're going to want to grab it. You can grab it by holding it between your index finger and your thumb, and then you kind of put your other fingers, you brace it up underneath the bottom of the rock. It's kind of like holding a pencil, where how you hold a pencil like this, except you're putting a big rock between your fingers instead of a little tiny pencil. So you can hold it between your thumb and your index finger with your other fingers bracing it underneath. The other way you can do it is you can hold it with your index finger and your other fingers underneath the same way, but you can put your thumb on top of it to hold the rock. So those are two different ways you can hold it, whichever way is more comfortable for you. The next thing you want to do, you want to face the water, because you're going to be throwing with your sidearm. So when you're throwing it, you're not throwing it like a baseball like this. Okay, watch what happens. That went great. That's not what you want. Instead, in order to get the rock to skip across the water, you got to hold it flat, because that's the best way for it to skip that way. And so for it to get that velocity of turning to hit the water and make it jump, you gotta throw it sidearm. And think of it, one of the important parts is how you flick your wrist. So if you've ever seen Peyton Manning teach people how to throw football, he says with football, you gotta throw the football and flick your wrist like you're flicking a booger off your finger. It's the same way, but a different movement. When you're throwing the rock, you gotta flick it like you're throwing a booger off your finger the same way like Peyton Manning says. So let me show you. So you're gonna take your wrist, you're gonna hold it one of the two ways I showed you. You're gonna take your arm and put it off to the side like this, and you're gonna bring it back, and then you're gonna flick your arm, bring your elbow in and flick your arm really fast. The faster you can flick your wrist, the more jumps you can get. So let's watch. Ready? That got like 4. That was pretty good. Let me try another one. So I held it that way where I held it between my 2 fingers. I'm gonna hold it this way with my thumb on top. How you hold it really doesn't matter. Do what's most comfortable for you. That one was good. It was so light though, it went way too far down the creek, and that's why I only got a couple jumps. So you kind of want a heavier rock that's in between, not too light, but not too heavy either, where it's gonna go kerplunk. Let's try another one. So see, what I'm doing there is I didn't get it flat enough, so I turned it with my wrist. I didn't flick it. You gotta flick it real good. That was better. So here's one of those rocks I showed you that wasn't a good example. It's really big, it's flat, but it's really thick. So let's see why it doesn't work well. See how it went? So it didn't work well because it was too big. I couldn't throw it well enough. Last one. And again, didn't get it flat enough. That's okay. That's the fun part of it, is do it a bunch of times. And also, while you're looking for rocks, don't be afraid to get dirty. You're outside, have fun. You can wash your hands as soon as you get in the car, use hand sanitizer, you know, Corona, and then get home and wash your hands. But have fun when you're out here. Don't be afraid for a couple kerplunks, but also have a competition. See who can get the most jumps in your family or between you and your friends. That's the fun of it. You don't have to do it perfectly, just practice. All right, that's that for skipping rocks, guys. I would love to see if any of you get out and you skip rocks. Send me some pictures or videos of you doing it. Let me know how you like it. Have a good time. Bye, guys. That was a good one. Ooh, look at that multi-jumper.
Yeah.
I like 3, 2. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh.
Gonna rock now.